Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wicked, wonderful episode of MPJ album review. It's not an album review tonight because it's an interview special, and tonight we have the mega, the amazing, all the way from Austria, the incredible Roadwolf. Woohoo! Hey, welcome gang, and we can only see some of them. They're all sat there. They've just come out of their rehearsals. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, it's Mano on the drums here.
Mano on the drums.
Hi, I'm Chris on the bass.
I'm the guitarist. My name is Valentin.
Cool, excellent. Well, we can only see the heads slightly of the guys to the right and the left. So you're gonna have, when you talk, you're gonna have to nod in a little bit. But anyway, so yeah. Chris is just Chris being the bassist that he is, just hogging the whole of the limelight here. So,
which is normally not the case for bassists, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, we're making a nice change. There we go. We're swimming around a little bit. So first of all, let's get the elephant in the room. Congratulations, guys, on an amazing album. Absolutely, you must be thrilled. You must be super proud of it. I hope things are going well for it. Sales good, good reactions, good reviews.
Well, it's been a long ride to finish the album, and yeah, it's been a lot of great reviews. I mean, you did a great review too. It was really funny to see that.
Thank you.
To see being in a battle with
Richie Faulkner and his
elegant weapons,
big names, So
yeah.
With guitarist.
But this was carrying on all around the other reviews too. All the magazines and all the listings and charts where we became part of. It was all wow, we're in good company there, and to see that after the second album was really great for us, really. So for us, it was a step up a bit, but also in work, it took.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a journey, because when I kind of read out, your biography, you'd actually formed in 2011, but you didn't release your first album until quite a while after. So why don't you tell us the journey then your journey from 2011 to where you're at the minute?
So yeah, we have actually Mano and me. We have a long history of playing together in bands or in the band, and we had some lineup changes. We switched some guitarists and we did some switch up, and then in 2016 we finally got the lineup we have today. So with Frankie on the vocals and us three here, and then it really started to work out well, and we wrote some new material, we recorded the old material. So 2020 was our time when it all culminated, and we all put the history together and put the songs together, and this was our first big step with the current lineup.
And how did so when did you come on the radar of Napalm Records then? Because that's it. Napalm is a big rock label. So how did that come about, and when did that come about?
Well, the first album was released on Metalizer Records by our good friend Bernie Kreitmeier in Germany, and he did a great job. It's just a one guy label, and he was helping us out. He just I will do it when you guys ever make an album. I will release it. So he knew us from the demos, because we did a lot of EPs and demos before the album. We did a lot of live recording and stuff like that, and we did play a lot of live shows before we even had an album. So that's years of live playing before we even recorded anything. So he knew us from then, and he released the album, and it did well. It was really well received, and maybe 1 year after the release of the first album, there was even already talk about Napalm wanting to release the first album, and we had to tell them that we already have a label for that. It's already released, and they're like, okay. can we have it? We was like, no.
And your
Because
point being, can we still have it? Yeah, okay.
When we have it, I said no, it's already released on a proper label and everything. But hey, we can do another one for you guys, you know. so they noticed. I mean, I think we didn't really go there and knock doors down or something like that.
No.
So,
They came to you.
They came to you. No, I mean, and I wouldn't have blamed you if you did go knocking their doors down. I mean, why not? It's rock and roll. So you and Chris formed the band originally then. So it was the pair of you, you two that originally kind of formed the band. And was it always your intention, when you formed Roadwolf, was it your intention to go down the road of the sound you currently have, or has that developed over a period of time? In other words, what was your inspiration that you wanted to make your sounds like then?
I would say definitely developed, but we always wanted to do classic rock stuff, classic metal stuff. We were always into bands like Maiden and Priest, and we always wanted to do that kind of music. But of course, back then we were young and wild, and we did some crazy stuff, so definitely changed.
I mean, some of the first stuff we covered was AC/DC, Slayer, Crocus, and what else? I don't know. Budgie. Like,
yeah.
Brad
fan.
the first set was like a cover
band
of these bands like Slayer and Budgie in one set, you know. So, but this was the first thing we played together, and we did. Also, when we did covers, you know, like for rehearsing or getting in the mood, or like when you do covers, you get ideas for your own songs and stuff. You learn a lot. And when we did that, we always did like really obscure new wave of British heavy metal stuff, you know. Yeah. It was always our music.
And also we wanted to play fast.
Yeah, we had a knack for fast music.
So obviously, you know, you sound classic. You make no bones about your inspiration of the likes of Iron Maiden and Priest and Slayer and that sort of stuff as well. So when you were growing up, lads, which is, you know, you're a bit younger, who was your favourite band? Chris, let's start with you in the middle then. Who was your favourite band when you were kind of, who was your biggest inspiration then when you're a wee lad or getting your teens and picking up the guitar for the first time?
Should I start? Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Well, for me, the greatest inspiration for picking up a guitar, and I first started with guitar and then moved on to bass, was Iron Maiden. So my first guitar magazine, there was a song transcription for Rough and I just wanted to play that fucking song because it was just so amazing and mind-blowing what they did, and this is what got me into playing guitar.
Okay, Emma, how about you guys?
For me, it was all before YouTube, so I would say my first idol was Angus Young, AC/DC, because I bought the DVDs and I knew the music before, but I had no vision, and like no pictures. And then I saw this crazy school kid jumping around and acting like a maniac, and I was like, oh, hey, this is nice. I wanna be like him, but it's not easy to be like him. But yeah, he was one of my first idols. So I would say AC/DC, Maiden, Priest, yeah.
And Manu?
For me, to start to play the drums was maybe more a decision of, hey, we need a drummer in the band. I want to play drums because I did play guitar back then too, and wrote a lot of riffs too for the first few years of the band. But definitely the drums was like, wow, that's a cool thing to do, and I like drumming. And I saw like videos of people like Tommy Aldridge back then. I saw some short video snippets, you know, like it's not like you see like a whole concert or something. You had to buy it on VHS or something.
Yeah.
So I just had a small video like downloaded from some obscure website or something, and I just knew from the looks how they were like playing that, like wow, that I want to do that. And it was like Tommy Aldridge, Bill Ward, and Dave Lombardo, like those guys that really go for it,
Right, I'm going to bring in Trish here because she has been, out of all our interviews, she has been the most excited by this interview, the most excited. So Trish, let's fire in a couple of questions from the rock chick here.
Okay. So, how did the band choose their name?
Well, we had a different name first that nobody could spell out in Austria because English is not.
What was it? What was it called?
So we were called Virtual Disease. So because we were in a school for informatics and we did want to do something with virtual, and disease because it just sounded cool, but nobody could spell it out, nobody could write it, so we had to think, let's choose something else, let's choose something which is a little bit more catchy, which also the name makes you associated with a feeling or with something.
It encapsulates the music.
Yeah. So we're choosing the Roadwolf, which is also a song where it's about a loner who is on his motorcycle and he's riding from town to town, and so this was kind of the feeling behind it, the spirit behind the name.
Also, when you say Roadwolf, it's the same in bad Austrian English, like as in proper English, so they cannot really say it wrong.
Yeah.
So that was a big plus.
Yeah, definitely.
Roadwolf.
Roadwolf. That could be a chant, couldn't it? Roadwolf.
We also were big fans. At least me, we were crazy wasp heads, like all these bands that had animals in the name, and I always thought it was so cool. So we needed. It was also
all you need is a color and an animal.
Yeah,
everything was already taken.
Yeah, but look, that's quite cool.
Yeah, like not so complicated,
Oh, exactly. Let me see. What's the best show or tour you've ever played, and why was it so special?
Yeah, I think the best, one of the most special shows, I would say, was the experience we had Wacken Open Air in 2014, if I remember correctly, because it was brilliant sound. It was special to have such an awesome sound on stage, such a professional treatment by the crew, and also almost 4,000 people. And yeah, it was like, for me personally, it was like tasting blood. It was okay. This is what I wanted to do.
Sorry, hold a minute. That's like tasting blood.
He's getting the wolf out, right?
So this is obviously, we're interviewing a vampire band here. This is down in their basement. About to just got out of their coffins for the night. Anyway, okay.
This was one of the most special shows for me. Yeah, there were a lot of special shows, but this one was.
Wacken is Wacken. I mean, it's the mecca of heavy metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also played a Full Metal Mountain on top of a mountain, which was also special. It was snow everywhere, and you were standing on top of a mountain, playing your guitar solos.
People jumping in the snow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super sweet. Or playing on the boat was also nice.
Wolves like snow.
For me, really, the show on the boat that we did with our good friend Nino from Epic Frost. He set up a festival on a boat on the Danube last year.
Yeah, last year in September.
And it was so great. It was because you asked for special. That was really special, because as the boat took a turn while we started the show, we were playing, and the boat takes a turn on the river, which makes the boat go like this.
Oh my gosh.
And I cannot I'm not standing, and can put my feet on the ground and be straight again. So I'm sitting there drumming, and my whole drum set is going like this. I'm sitting there nearly falling off the stool, You have to go on and go for it, Just shifting around body weight, like a,
Yeah.
and then
Wow.
and you see all the crowd like going like this too.
Going with you.
Banging sidewalks.
It was a crazy old school metal crowd going crazy on the shipyard, on the ship deck, you know.
Yeah.
Inside, it was cool. It was just cool.
And we did not get seasick, so.
Yay. That's a bonus.
Definitely a bonus, yeah.
One more question, and then I'll hand back to Nigel, and then I've got one other question after that, which he knows what it's going to be, so you better not nick it. What's the best advice that you've ever been given as band musicians?
The best advice?
Yeah.
It must have come from our producer from the first album.
Exactly. That's why we're with Napalm Records now because of his advice.
It must have been him.
Definitely.
What did he say?
What did he say, though?
No, he gave us a lot of advices on how to improve ourselves, how to write songs, and how to improve songs and the arrangement and stuff. So he gave us a lot of tips what we should do, and I think we did it, and we proved that we can do it on our second album. We proved that we can do it ourselves, and I think it worked. Yeah.
I think, for example, something I can recall is he once said to me, not only to me, but also to the whole band, it's like a good song doesn't matter what genre. A good song is you can play with acoustic guitar, like the basic chords, and you can sing the melody, and everybody will sing along because it's a good song. It's like the Beatles classics or a Bon Jovi classic, stuff like this. And so he was always telling us or me as a guitarist, like, hey, you gotta check it out. How is the chord progression and how is the melody going, and try to play it along on acoustic guitar. And some of these songs from the first record and also on the second record are also working quite well on acoustic guitar, like the basic rough idea of the song structure. And I think that was a really good hint, because I think everything that counts is a good song. And I would say we have some good songs on our two records so far, and I think it's because of this advice.
Also, you know, as a drummer, when I was in the studio with him, as a drummer, he told me, hey, you're not only a drummer, you're also an arranger. So that's also your job. I'm like, wow, really? It's my job? Like, yeah, you have to like put it together so it doesn't get too long. Like you build the drive, you build it up, you set the frames. I was like, oh, okay. And I spent so much time in the studio with him for the first record, and I cannot give you a short answer what he said to me, but what he in fact told me was how to record an album, like how to do it, like in many sessions, you know, in many hours. But he just explained to me how you record and write and arrange and record a rock album, and in the easiest words that I barely could understand. He explained it to me over weeks and months, and the second album, I think, testifies to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we produced ourselves. That's what we arranged, produced, wrote ourselves alone as a band. And I think the best advice that we ever got was how to do the second album.
Okay, Nigel, over to you.
Brilliant.
But leave that last question, or that one question, for me.
Don't know what you're talking about.
You do know what I'm talking about. Oh.
So, I mean, good question there, Trish. So, what is your writing style, then, guys? Because we ask this quite frequently, and I always get an eclectic kind of mixture of answers, from writing the music first to writing the lyrics. And it just seems to be a pattern that most rock bands seem to write the music first and then write the lyrics to the music. Is that what happened? Is that your style, or how do you work it?
No, there's sometimes the lyrics are first. Sometimes there's like a verse or an idea for a chorus is there first, and then we sometimes you have stuck a melody in your head and it's not going out, and you've got to write some chords and some riffs, and then then you finally found some relief.
So let's talk about one of the greatest songs that's been written this year by a band then. It's a little tune you might have heard called Mark of the Devil by this little band called Roadwolf, which you've got that riff, and then Mark of the Devil. How did that? Because for me, I love little riffs like that. I love them, and I love it when the musicality of the song and that riff kind of comes together. So who's responsible for Mark of the Devil then? Who wrote that, and how did that come about?
I think the most of the riffs and really the most stuff of the riff writing was done by Valentin, and it's like his guitar masterpiece, like you could say, because it's got really a lot of stuff going on with the guitar and a lot of solos and a lot of melodies. It was his idea, and we spiced it up. We changed rhythms, so that's what kind of me and I and Chris brought in. Like, we changed from straight beats to shuffle beats, or like, hey, we got for the chorus we need like a straight stomper. Like, we changed up things a bit, but the riffs is all him,
Yeah, and also like the lyrics, they date back, I think, a couple of years ago, because Mark of the Devil, it was like an old lyrics from Mano, and so I was looking through our lyrics we haven't used so far. So I was like, hey, this could fit. It was the melody that was stuck in my head. I was humming to this kind of lyrics. I was like, hey, we could use this one, and yeah, it fits. It totally fits. Evil sounding riffs and Mark of the Devil lyrics perfectly fit.
There's a little fun fact. There's an Austrian horror movie, like a witch hunter movie called Mark of the Devil.
Right. Yes.
And it was shot in Austria in the 70s. It was like a spin-off of all these Witchfinder General movies and Vincent Price stuff and Hammer movies. Like, hey, let's jump on that ship and let's do it in Austria. I mean, it was a B movie, but I saw the movie, and when I watched it, I was like, wow, crazy story. Like, and I started to write a song around it, but it took 6 years until someone wrote the great music for the lyrics, And we still wrote some lyrics in the studio to fill up the gaps,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine that, actually. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because you have a refresher, and you go like, why didn't I give this band a 5? What was stopping me? And then you go, I don't know why, because like, you know a good guitarist, and you guys are, there's a lot of bands out there that are trying to relive that classic rock era, and you fall into two traps. You fall into kind of categories of there's three really. One, they're not good enough. Secondly, they try to, it's just like this. It's the same sound. It's the same sound, and it's almost like a parody of that sound. They're just recreating it. And then you've got your bands such as yourself, where you're bringing something new and a bit more fresher, and you're almost making classic rock. You have the fundamental of classic rock, but you're bringing a new vibe. You're bringing something a bit more fresher and modern to it. And when I'm walking the dogs and I'm air guitar into your music, you're on a winner.
It's a look.
You literally know you are literally onto a winner. That it's tight, it's fresh. Some of your musicianship, guys, is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I think it just happens that Dom, who give you a lower rating, just wasn't quite into classical rock music.
Genre,
Damn
though,
him!
is it?
Damn him! I would curse him to heaven. It's really, 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 really good. So what next then? Are you guys looking to? Are you backing up this with a tour, or what's happening? And ultimately, what Trish wants me to ask you is: are you bloody coming to the UK?
That's exactly the question. Not the question that I was going to ask, but you've asked the other correct one.
You knew it. You knew it. He's going to ask you a question.
No, that's not the question. But,
that's not the question.
But it is a question that she wanted me to ask.
That I would be wanting to know.
Like, unfortunately, booking is going really bad. You know, all the festivals are full. Since Corona, they like postpone lineups, and we still got some shows this year in Germany and so on. And in the beginning of next year, we're in Poland and so different stuff. We're planning for the UK, and I mean we want to do it, but we kind of need the connections and bookings, you know. And it's going so slow, but we're on it, you know. We need to push it more, I think. We had a lot to do with the album and getting it out to release it, to do all the music videos we did was like a lot of work. And now I think next year will be a better year for playing live than this year.
And so, how does a record label like Napalm help you then, other than marketing your product? Do they help with tours and that sort of stuff? Where's their involvement other than trying to promote the album? Do they help you promote the band as well? How does that all work?
They promote it. They do promotion, of course, over their online stuff. Like they have the YouTube channel with the millions of views and stuff, which helped a lot. I mean, they have the Instagram and they have all this online stuff. They have their own shop. They also have their own special shirts and special merch that it's not available anywhere else. But the thing is, it's Napalm Records, the label, and it's another company that's doing the bookings.
Right.
So like a management team that would book your tour.
Okay.
There's a management team in the Napalm Records label.
Right.
There is a separate booking company.
Okay.
And they are like completely full with all their bands they already have. They have a lot of bands, and they are completely full. They don't have time for any newcomers, unfortunately, right now. But we'll see if we can change that, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're full with after Corona, like everything's stacked up, you know.
Yeah. Okay. And
we're still a DIY band, you know. Still, so it's you got a sign with a big label, you know, like big underground. It's still small, you know.
See, I envisage Napalm to be quite a big label. Is that not the case?
It is a big label for the metal underground, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are still a DIY band, you know. We're still calling people on the phone, like, can we play?
Yeah.
Just food too.
Yes, we need food. It's still like that, you know. That didn't change too much, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, and now obviously you're into your metal. So if you could go and see a new band out there that's rocking out there, who's your favourite band that you go, these guys are like super cool, they're amazing. So what bands out there right now are you listening to and you go, they're good? Apart from yourselves, of course.
No, big bands or unknown?
I don't know. Unknown.
Anything you want.
Anything.
Or maybe one of each.
Right now, for me, one of the the biggest, not inspirations, but a band I really like is Ambush from Sweden.
Okay.
I have seen it a couple of times, and I was hanging out with them a couple of times, and fun dudes, good musicians, good singers. Like everybody in the band, it seems to be a good singer, and they're having good songs and nice sound and cool shows, and it's like
Ambush. We'll keep an eye out for those. How about you guys?
Well, for me, it's the Canadian bands. I love Striker and Skullfist. Those are my favorite
I don't know.
new traditional heavy metal bands. Yeah.
Cool.
For me, I mean, we've already played and with them or seen them live, like Ambush and Bullet, like these bands. We really like them. But a new band, a really unknown band that I've not seen before, which I really would love to see live one day or play with them, would be Witch Tower from Spain. And they're still on my list.
Hey,
They sound quite cool with a name like that.
Witch Tower.
I'm in contact with them. I write with them sometimes, but
they won't play to us.
But they're like over there and we're over here, you know. And
yeah.
Europe still is too big, unfortunately.
Trish, I've got a couple more questions, but do you want to ask your final question before I annoy you?
I do want to ask my final question. So, I have a favourite song off of the album Midnight Lighting. Mm-hmm. I will tell it to you, but first of all, I want to know what yours is.
Oh, that's easy. Supernatural.
Oh, yes, that's mine! Oh, yes!
I think it's also one of my top favorites. It depends on the mood. One day it's that song, one day it's another. But I think I'm going with Midnight Lightning.
Yeah.
I think for me it's either High Under Pressure or I'll take the off-road here, like Running Out of Time, because it took us so fucking long to write that song. So, but I think those songs are really, really great, and I think we really pushed into a new direction where we didn't go before. But I also think that Midnight Lighting may be the best song we have written so far, but I think that Supernatural was the best recording so far.
Yeah, see, I've got it written on a post-it note here, so I'm not lying.
Yeah, I think Supernatural was like, even when we recorded it, it was like, wow, this really, everything comes together somehow. It's seamless.
I think it's also quite commercial as well for like radio play as well. You know, I don't know, there's just something about it that I really loved.
It was more a surprise for me. I've never expected that the song came out that well. Like it was really like, also for me, like when I was writing the lead guitars for this song, first of all I had no fucking clue what should I play, and then the ideas, and then it all clicked at some point.
It definitely did.
And you know, you can write a great song and you know it's a good song, but you don't know if it's gonna be strong on the album until you have finished the recording.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
Don't know. You only know when you have the finished record which one is the strongest. You can also choose the single only when you have the finished master, because you can write the greatest song, but it just didn't work out in the studio and you have like bad luck, you know. But
yeah,
with that song, it just clicked. It just worked.
Yeah.
Fun fact: it's based off a '70s movie poster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, I love it.
Well, of course, you're all entirely wrong, because Mark of the Devil is by far the best track on the album. by a million miles. So you're all wrong. No, I'm joking.
We all each have.
Well, it's interesting because Mark of the Devil, I love it because it does take me back, but it makes it feel modern because it's very, it's very influenced by Iron Maiden. That's kind of there. But the other song that I absolutely agree with, Mano, is High Under Pressure. And I was listening to that song, and that for me also kind of really stood out. I mean, I love the whole album anyway, but those are my two standout songs from that side of things as well. So, sorry?
They're also great songs, I think.
The whole album is powerful.
You can pick which song you like. It's like this one sounds like New Wobbum. This one sounds like US LA Sunset Strip. This one sounds like Bay Area Thrash Metal. This one has a saxophone in it. This one is a ballad.
Oh, the saxophone. Which one was the saxophone?
Oh my god, that was brilliant.
That was High Under Pressure. Which one had the saxophone in it, by the way?
Under Pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Under Pressure. Yeah, that's why I loved it. I was trying to remember. I was going to ask you about that. Thank you for reminding me. Where the hell did the saxophone
No
come
worries.
from? The saxophone. That was just. I do like a little bit of sax. So whose idea was that? And who played the sax? Was that a guest appearance of somebody, or did one of you guys play the sax?
Yeah, I played now.
Of course.
No.
I think the idea is very old. I think I had the idea for to put a different instrument in the music, like with the first album already, and we had the harp, on the first record.
Harp solo.
We did have the harp, yeah, and because we were talking about sax back then already, but we didn't have a saxophone player, so it became it became a harp, So it's like
We're talking about sex the whole day.
Yeah. Sex on the record, sex records,
Sex sells.
recording sex.
And of course, sex sells. That's what we were thinking.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Well, on the first record we had "Turn It Loose," like a fast-paced blues rocker, and the harp solo was like super. It was super perfect. It fits perfectly, and also High Under Pressure was also some kind of. There were like some similarities to this "Turn It Loose" song from the first record, and High Under Pressure is also a fast-paced, heavy rocker.
12-bar blues.
Yeah, and therefore we're like, okay, what's also a good sounding lead instrument, and and then Frankie, our singer, he knew from his teenage years, Herbert Königshofer is his name, and the dude playing the saxophone. They knew each other for a long time, and he called him and he said yes. But the funny thing is, he's like a really like a real professional. He's like a jazz player, but with a metal heart, And he was playing. Everybody back in he told us all his friends, they were practicing Ingrid Malmsteen guitar licks. They were practicing, and he was playing these licks already on the saxophone, like a maniac. And you can hear on the record, it's like we took a couple of hours with him.
He had like 6 beers, like in the recording studio. He like chucked down like one beer after another. Like, okay, I have this idea. I will show you. And now I go in, and he went in and he did like, I don't know, 6 takes or something like that. Like getting better. And then it was like, okay, I was just.
Somebody take me home.
Normally,
It worked.
I had to do a lot of like, hey, do this again with the other guys, like helping each other through, the recording process. But with him, it's like, I want to tell you, maybe you can do it. No, just give it to me again from the front, like start like the whole thing. And he just did whole takes, like bam, 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 and then 1 hour later he was like drunk, like take me home. Like we brought him home. Like we listened to it the next day, and it was like, oh man, this is fucking amazing,
And I think that's a fundamental difference between your sound, I think, and that's a really good example of what we say about trying to modernising up that classic rock sound, but trying to inject something new and different into it. And yeah, please, can't wait to see what instrument will be on the album number 3. So.
Let's see if you do that again, But the idea, what you hear, what you described before, is something that it's not by chance, not by accident. We did discuss it when we recorded the album and when we started to talk about the sound. We did, because a lot of other bands, maybe they try to sound like vintage. They try to even destroy their sound like on purpose, They high cut everything, like it's very like boxy. Small, boxy. They do record in mono or whatever, And I didn't understand that, so we were talking about creating the sound for the record, and we were like, hey, let's record vintage sounds, but let mix and master it like in a modern style, so we can compete and like it's fun to listen to,
Yeah.
You can actually hear it.
It's also a tip our producer gave us from the first record. He's like, what albums do you like? And we were like, hey, we like
Screaming for Vengeance.
Yeah, and the first Saxon album, and he's like, it sounds shit. You know? Don't do it. We don't do that, okay? We don't make you sound shit on purpose. We want to make you sound great.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense when you think which kind of equipment Saxon maybe had back in 1980.
Exactly.
Doesn't make
It's all
sense
changed.
to lower it to that kind of quality.
No.
Why? I mean,
No.
you can play the songs, you can do the guitar, but not the recording.
And they
Okay.
have maybe had 1 hour of mixing time, you know, in the studio. It was rushed, you know, it's a rushed production. We didn't want to do that.
Okay.
Just
So
like my friend, they didn't have any money, they had to rush the whole album in a week. Why? I mean, if you can do it better, then do it better, of course.
you'll spend just as much time failing as you will succeeding. So that's kind of, you know, you might as well spend the time to succeed than fail. That's kind of one of my mottos, really. So guys, I don't know if you saw, you probably don't, but have you watched America's Got Talent? Have you seen America's Got Talent? Did you ever watch it?
I heard about it.
So Steel Panthers, guys. Steel Panthers, the mega power metal band, went on to America's Got Talent, okay, and rocked the joint out there. So the question I love to ask all my bands, all my interviews with, is would you sell your soul to... Not sell your soul, that's a bad impression. But would you go on to Germany's Got Talent or Austria's Got Talent, and would you go on there and play your stuff if you got invited on there? Or would you try to get on there?
We wouldn't try maybe, but if we could play live and not
You got
on a
invited
tape,
to play live, yeah.
Well, you have to play live. You have to play live in your audition, don't you? You have to play live on stage to get
I
through.
mean, I don't know if they all play live, you know. I mean, half of the stuff is coming from tape. So,
Yeah.
and maybe it's
Oh, it's
here is live.
edited. I think they play live and then it's edited,
But
probably.
we wouldn't do it from tape. I think that is kind of clear.
Of course not.
Because this wouldn't be our kind of style and wouldn't be our kind of presentation. So that wouldn't work.
If we could just be on a big stage and play fucking live and
Absolutely.
get thrown out afterwards.
I don't feel comfortable with the idea playing, for example, like these Got Talent shows, because I think these shows they would rip us apart. You know, it's like I think heavy metal they're not ready for heavy metal.
Yeah, they don't even understand.
I don't know. Steel Panthers have got a standing ovation.
This one is old and this one is blah, and and you're ugly and you're and they will destroy your passion.
Yeah,
Because this is what they do. Because there are so many young people and talented people and really good people with good singers and good players, and you go there and then some, I don't know, Dieter Bohlen or whatever is sitting in front of them and say, "You suck because you're fat." Okay. This is, okay.
Yeah,
For me, it's not.
big
It's
shit machine, of course.
yeah. It's like
well, just to interrupt there, I think if you look at the Steel Panthers audition, they absolutely rocked the point. The judges are governed by the audience. If you have the audience on their feet, it's irrelevant. The judges aren't going to say a thing really. But I get you. I do get you. I mean, we've spoke to a few people now who it's not. You know, they get told what to do, and you get taken away from your originality, and it takes a very strong character to maintain that originality. And once you have that initial breadth of exposure, you know, you're absolutely right. Your originality will get sucked out of you, and that's not.
I mean, Steel Panther playing there makes absolute sense to me, because I think, I mean, they're all great musicians. They have a long history of being great metal musicians, you know. But Steel Panther, the project, is like
it's made for stuff like this.
yeah, it's like a
I totally understand where you're coming from there.
playing into the image that these people on these shows want to see, and what they got in mind when they think about metal, you know. And they play into that thing, they celebrate that thing, they make a joke out of it, on purpose, which I understand, but that's not our thing. It's not what we do. And I think it's perfect for them to play there because it's exactly what these guys want, you know.
Yeah.
And
also the difference is they went in there already being a famous band. I think this is the difference because I mean what Valentin said is about young people trying to get famous,
make a living out of it.
But for Steel Panther, I think it's different because they come there already as a
well-established. Yeah.
Also, yeah, and also Steel Panther is like taking it not too seriously.
Yeah.
You know,
They're a glam metal
yeah, a glam metal
back
band.
in the day, and
I don't think they take it seriously,
that.
but there we go. So.
I think those kind of shows and the audience and the jury is not ready for a band that really means what they're doing. They don't expect that, you know. They cannot handle, like, oh, you are heavy metal, you are like Steel Panther, all right? Like, no, we really mean what we're doing.
Exactly.
And that's not. They can't understand that, I'm sure.
So what?
But it's
sorry.
But it's good that Steel Panther is doing it because at least the sound and the looks and the way how to play music, this kind of music is finally going back to you know what I mean, and top commercial sell-out music, you know. And so the younger kids, the younger generations, they have also a chance to discover something new, like a different sound, because everything which is broadcasted and having a platform on these television shows is everything except rock music. Like you have hundreds of sounds like hip hop or whatever, as far as I have heard, you know. But I think it's good. So therefore, I think I have to say thank you to Steel Panther for.
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I just thought it was fantastic.
Mainstream.
I don't
Maybe
think
a kid sees them, picks up a guitar or a bass, then starts a real band, you know.
Mate, overrated, but there we go. So, what next? What next for you guys? Do you already have a plan for album number 3? Would it be a couple of years, I presume? And in between now, it's about promoting this album and then trying to get to as many tours next year. What's the future hold? What's your roadmap for Roadwolf? What's the map for the Roadwolf?
That's a good question. Actually, I think we should.
I think
we should talk about this.
I think the answer is yes.
Yes, Nigel. Yes.
Fantastic.
Correct answer.
Trish, have you got any final questions for the band?
No.
Guys,
I've asked my main one.
Honestly, genuinely, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Pleasure spending time. It's been great for me and Trish get to interview a band that we pretty much nearly got into our Hall of Fame. But congratulations once again for what I think is probably, in my opinion, this year is one of my favourite, what I call classic, in a classic style, but modern album of the year as well. So well done and congratulations again. And really, I can't wait if you come to the UK for an invitation for me and Trish to come backstage and have a beer with you.
They're really going to personally invite us, right?
Yes, that's what I'm asking. They better do.
Trish will look out for when they're coming, and Trish will book the ticket.
Well, yeah, and then reach out to the band and get a beer together. Surely.
Of course. Where should we go? I mean, tell us, which city should we go?
Portsmouth, Southampton, so right down the south coast.
Guildford.
Yeah, so right all around that one. So
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So yeah.
North Coast.
But yeah, if you check out one of our favourite bands that's come from the US is using a Tornado, Midnight Tornado promotions. So they seem to want to bring international bands over. So maybe check out Facebook. Yeah, send us a link and maybe reach out to those guys because House and Hand Grenades, who are like amazing, and they've been using them to come over from the US. So they are. I mean, their first tour is what I call getting into the basics, getting to the basic pubs and clubs. But they're coming back now. They're coming on bigger. So it's worth a bit of effort, but it's worth reaching out to Midnight Tornado and see if they can do anything for you. So in the UK,
I'll send the links to a couple of them.
Brilliant. We'd love to see you. So absolutely love to see you. But there we go. Guys, been an absolute pleasure. Keep on rocking, keep on playing, keep on producing fantastic music. And we hope to see you soon again. And good luck.
And thank you, Sarah Jane from Napalm Records, for organising this.
Thank you, Sarah Jane. So,